Folks, just a couple more questions before we get to audience questions. Maria, you spoke of a grassroots culture of human rights. I mean, would you mind just drawing that out a little bit more? I mean, you know, it sounds like something we all should agree with, but what exactly do you mean?
Well, I think what I mean by a grassroots culture of human rights is a culture driven from below, where people voluntarily meet like we are here today to discuss human rights, as simple as that. How would that happen? I don't think it should be organised from above. It needs to come from the bottom, from NGOs and informal organisations, you know. But that's what I mean by it. It's just having public debate. What I also mean by collectivism, when people are just liking and sharing on Facebook and tweeting, I think we should move a little bit from that and value public debate face to face like we are here, which is something that goes back to the 17th, 18th century, as what we used to call the public sphere. And then the public sphere became something more abstract, you know, what we read in the media, and we consume politics through the media. But what we are doing here is also very, very important, and it should be cultivated. It should not end up just on social media. So that's what I mean.
Well, I certainly think that's one of the reasons why, you know, this festival and others each year are so important.
I'm not against social media. I use the
but there is a danger that you do just spend your whole time
just clicking and liking, and that's not about. It's very important. This human contact, you know, people being in a place like this, having this discussion.
But of course, if people want to be tweeting about it tonight,
that's fine.
That's fine.
On the social media thing, without social media, I understand it's evil in all different ways, but if it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't be able to ring my cousins who live on the poverty line, on a council estate in Dorking, and say, do you realise what you're doing when you tweet Britain First social media issues? And that's quite a difficult discussion, because they're my cousins. One of them is younger than me. I'm his godparent and notion. But actually, I then went to one of the weddings of my cousin. There's Phil. And I say, well, what are we doing after the wedding? I said, we're going to the George, because we always go to the George, the local pub. He said, no, we're boycotting it. And I thought, oh gosh, I don't visit that often. And he said, no, we were in there. He said, we were discussing this same-sex marriage stuff. He said, and the landlord said he was against these puffs getting married. He said, and we said, that's our cousin, so we boycott it now. So then I said, well, that's quite nice. I'm slightly touched and flattered, because, yeah, actually I've just got engaged myself to my male life partner. And I was then actually really pleased and able to invite them to my wedding. And actually they actually felt like I was actually doing some good on that council estate in Dorking by getting 4 of my cousins and their partners to come to a, as they saw it, gay wedding, and then go back to their village and their pub and say, what's all the fuss about? And it was, you know, and then seeing it roll out on social media as they're tweeting photos of them and me going, this is my gay cousin who's just got married. I'm like, wow, this is actually really interesting. This is a day, and we're sort of 100 miles apart. I think
your wedding did go everywhere, didn't it? Your wedding was seen by almost everybody.
But social media gets you to places you otherwise can't go.
Yeah.
And actually, because if it's all in the newspaper, they don't read the Daily Telegraph, the Guardian, the Mail. That's not their forum. You know, they're living their lives and they're trying to get on with it. But actually, social media, you can cut through and get into someone's front room and have a conversation to them.
And get them to then go out and actually be active.
Yeah.